Hello, welcome in to Main Street Media TV High School Football Preview Show. We're getting ready this week for the quarterfinals, otherwise known as Week 3 of the TSSAA football playoffs. And yes, we still have most of our sports editors and writers still with us to talk about their teams continuing their journeys this season. Don't forget to get all the coverage from Friday's game in your local Main Street Media newspaper, complete with photographs, thoughts from coaches, players, reactions, and more. To find out if your community is served by Main Street Media of Tennessee newspaper, go to mainstreetmediatn.com. And when you find your local newspaper, maybe consider signing up for subscriptions so you don't miss any of the local news, sports, and more your local newspaper has lined up for you each and every week. Okay, let's get this quarterfinal preview started with David Wilson over in East Middle Tennessee.
Everybody, this is David Wilson, East Middle Tennessee Regional Sports Editor for Main Street Preps. Here to give you a quick preview of all the quarterfinal games across Wilson and Rutherford County this week. There is some overlap between Wilson and Rutherford County as one Wilson County team remains standing through the first 2 weeks of the high school football playoffs. The Green Hill Hawks, who advanced to their second ever quarterfinal in program history last week with a 35-28 win over Science Hill, will make the trip down 8:40 to take on the Oakland Patriots, the defending state champions in Class 6A in the quarterfinal round. Green Hill has had a great season and will be tested against the Patriots, who are undefeated on their year. Early losses to Page and Ravenwood, just the two lone defeats on Green Hill's schedule, were prepared and made on the schedule by head coach Josh Crouch for moments like this to take on the defending state champs Kevin Creasy, Joel Wyatt, Craig Tudd, Justice Haggard. The list goes on and on of talented players in the blue and red for Oakland. So it should be a good matchup on Friday night in Class 6A, 7 o'clock kick from Murfreesboro, Oakland, and Green Hill in the quarterfinals, where the winner will go on to the semifinal round and face the winner of the next matchup as we transition to Rutherford County. It's the Maryville Rebels from East Tennessee taking on the Blackman Blaze in Murfreesboro on Friday night. Blackman all over Dobbins Bennett last week on the road in East Tennessee to secure a home game in the quarterfinal round. They've done a great job this year. They have one of the best seasons in program history. Staying in Rutherford County for the last matchup of the week, we transition to Division II Single A in the private school sector. After a big win last week by PCA over Friendship Christian in double overtime at Johnny Floyd Stadium at MTSU, 41-40 was the final there. They will stay home this week in the borough as they take on the University School of Jackson in the Division IIA semifinal round. PCA obviously looking for their first ever trip to the Blue Cross Bowl. That game would be on Thursday, on the first Thursday in December. Obviously, LeBron Ferguson has done a great job. Nate Lamb at the quarterback position, and Sean Burkoffer, have done a great job as well for PCA. So they are looking to advance their first Blue Cross Bowl in school history. Just 3 teams in Rutherford County, 1 lone team in Wilson County on the slate this week. Should be a fun Friday afternoon. I'm excited to talk to you guys about it on the wrap-up next week.
All right, we're going to go ahead and stop right here to hear from these amazing sponsors who support your communities, your schools, and your teams all year round. We'll be right back.
He shoots, and he scores!
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
We are back and ready to head up to North Central Tennessee and Blaine Kellar.
North Central Regional Sports Editor Blaine Kellar here to give you a look ahead at the private school semifinals and the public school quarterfinals from Sumner County, Davidson, and Williamson in and around the Nashville area. You can find these stories in a few days on MainStreetPreps.com, as well as in print in the Hendersonville Standard and Main Street Nashville. A shortened list of print sections because there's only one team left in Sumner County, that being Beach, which goes up against a Williamson area school in the Page Patriots, a long-awaited matchup in the Class 5A quarterfinals. Beach has fallen short of this meeting in back-to-back seasons, now getting a chance to play Page, the four-time reigning state runners-up in their classification. Beach players were pretty excited about this opportunity to play Page after they beat Munford last week. Talked with DK Williams and Caden Powell about that opportunity. They're ready. They're excited to take on the Patriots, who have stormed their way through the rest of the regular season, through the first two rounds of the playoffs, handling Hendersonville and then Kirkwood. Page's defense has allowed 2 scores in the last month, just 1 touchdown in the postseason. Going to be a high-stakes matchup. The winner of this game, probably the favorite in the semifinal round, then having a chance to go to Chattanooga. Whether Beach gets a chance to do that for the first time in a few years, or Page has the opportunity to go for a 5th straight season. Couple of players to look out for there. Cohen Grissom and Knight Wilson are Air Force commitments for Page. Cameron Cruzy has been the standout quarterback in his first season for the Patriots. Running backs Isaac Odie, James Pierre, a transfer from the Webb School, part of a seriously talented run game that runs behind an offensive line led by college recruits Jacob Rathbone and Jordan Curl. On Beach's side, Kentucky signee and quarterback Caden Powell. We've been chronicling his story for the past 3 years since he came to Beach. He's got a couple of talented receivers on the outside who have stepped in well in their first season, that being Brock Miller as a starter and Jeremy Laster, just a sophomore with some major conference interest in the Power 4 schools. DK Williams, who we mentioned, a good linebacker, a solid running piece for their rushing attack. Shelton Swafford, the ETSU commitment there. Jack Fuchs, the Northwestern commitment, who was previously pledged to Penn State, anchoring Beach's offensive line. I think defense is going to win this game, and if you read our pick'em column, I gave the edge to Page on that, as well as home field advantage. The Patriots have not lost at home since 2022. Other Nashville area games, all private school games that we will have coverage of, starting in D2 Single A. The semifinal there being Nashville Christian hosting Trinity Christian on Friday. Georgia commitment, senior Jared Curtis, with an opportunity in these last 2 games of his high school career to eclipse 10,000 passing yards. He's a little over 9,300 right now. We'll need a few star performances to do that. Rarefied air to reach 10,000 for your high school career. He's got a chance to do that in the semifinals. And then probably beyond that, the Eagles are still undefeated to this point, with a couple of impressive wins can add to that in the D2 Single A semifinals. In D2 Double A, FRA hosts Lausanne. The Panthers, as well as BGA, can take care of business in D2 Double A to set up a state championship centered around the middle region. BGA heading to Chattanooga to take on Gary Rankin and Boyd Buchanan. We'll have coverage of FRA and Lausanne on our end. In D2 AAA, 6-seeded CPA, the darling Cinderella of the postseason so far, takes on Brentwood Academy, the undefeated Eagles led by Coach Paul Wade, who have really played well in their one game this postseason. They had a bye in the first round and then took care of business against NBA, winning 42-14. The winner of that game gets Macaulay or Baylor. Be sure to check out all of that on MainStreetPreps.com once it hits the site. Stay tuned to us, and we'll see you here for a wrap-up show after that.
Down in southern Middle Tennessee, Maurice Patton has a couple of Giles County teams with big games coming up Friday night.
Hey, I'm Maurice Patton. As we reach the state quarterfinal round in Division I high school football playoff action, we're definitely in the win or go home mode, and everybody in southern Middle Tennessee has gone home except Richland and Giles County, and the Raiders will be home Friday night for their Class 1A state quarterfinal matchup with visiting McKenzie. The Rebels coming in at 11-1, host Richland 10-2 on the year, 7-0 at Wayne Hobbs Stadium, which again is where this game will be played in Linville. The winner of this matchup advances to next week's semifinals against the winner of Memphis Middle College and Fayetteville. Richland comes in off of obviously a pair of playoff victories. Most recently, they defeated South Fulton 42-8. In round one, they defeated Collinwood 48-13. McKenzie defeated Greenfield 56-6 last week and opened playoff action with a 42-13 win over Huntland. A little bit of a rematch here in that Richland went to McKenzie in last year's state quarterfinals and dropped a 55-7 decision. So obviously the Raiders looking for a little get back here on Friday night. McKenzie has established itself as one of the top Class 1A teams in the state. They have been to the semifinal rounds 4 of the last 5 years, and they won the state championship in 2022. So big matchup Friday night in Linville when McKenzie comes to Richland in a Class 1A state quarterfinal matchup. In Class 3A, Giles County goes on the road to Chattanooga, taking on the Tyner Academy Rams. Giles County 9-3 on the year, Tyner 11-1. The Bobcats have won 8 straight after a 1-3 start to the season. Here in the playoffs, they defeated visiting McMinn Central 41-6 last week, opened with a 1-0 win over Chattanooga Central as Central forfeited in that opening round game. Tyner defeated Unicoi County 56-28 last week. They opened with a 33-20 win over Watertown. The winner of this game will play the winner of Meigs County and Gatlinburg-Pittman in the semifinals next Friday after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. So that's what we've got out of southern Middle Tennessee. Giles County going on the road to Tyner, Richland hosting McKenzie in Class 3A and Class 1A state quarterfinal action. I'm Maurice Patton from southern Middle Tennessee. We will see you all next week.
Thank you, Maurice. We've covered a lot of territory, but wait, there's more. So stay right there, and we'll be back right after this.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Welcome back. Just in time to hop on over to Northwest Middle Tennessee, where we'll find Calvin White.
Hello everybody, this is Calvin White, Northwest Regional Sports Editor for Main Street Preps, here to give you a quick preview of all of the quarterfinal playoff matchups in the Northwest region. Only 2 teams left in the playoffs in the Northwest region, that's Springfield and East Robertson. Both are hitting the road this week. Springfield is heading to South Gibson. The Hornets are 9-3 and have won big in their first 2 playoff games. They won 49-7 over Millington Central in the opening round and downed Spring Hill 42-7 30-7 last week. Springfield, coming off 2 big wins in the postseason itself. The Yellow Jackets beat Creekwood 35-7 in the opening round and beat Lexington 37-6. Last week, the Yellow Jackets are riding a 6-game winning streak entering this week's quarterfinal matchup. It will be the 9th time in 13 seasons under head coach Dustin Wilson that Springfield has played in the state quarterfinals. The Yellow Jackets looking to get back to the round they made it to last year. They lost in the Class 5A semifinals to eventual state runner-up Page, bumped down to Class 4A this year. The Yellow Jackets finished the regular season 9-1 and have been reeling in the playoffs so far, looking to pick up another big win this week in the quarterfinals. East Robertson is traveling to Huntington. Huntington comes in at 11-1. They won 22-12 over Memphis Business Academy in the opening round of the Class 2A playoffs and beat 49-22 over Lewis County last week. East Robertson comes in at 12-0. East Robertson only led by 7 at halftime last week against Peabody, but outscored the Golden Tide 14-0 in the second half for a 35-14 win in the second round over Peabody. East Robertson remains undefeated at 12-0, looking to move into the state semifinals with a win this week against Huntington. Huntington comes in 11-1, their lone loss of the year. Came in a 34-9 loss to Milan in week 3. Other than that, the Mustangs are riding a 9-game winning streak entering this week's quarterfinal matchup. That'll do it for all of our quarterfinal football previews in the Northwest region. As always, I'm Calvin White. I'll talk to you again soon.
And that does it for this week's high school football preview show from Main Street Media TV. Don't forget that Main Street Media TV has some great college and professional football-based shows lined up for you this season. So make sure you keep an eye on your local newspaper's social media pages where you can catch all our great programming every single day. And don't miss the high school football wrap-up show with these same sports editors and reporters next Tuesday. Here's hoping your team punches their ticket to the semifinals Friday night. We'll see you right here next week with High School Football Preview Show on Main Street Media TV.